What's going on, Landshark Nation? Victor Lubin here checking in, and in this week's Tackle Tuesday, I'm going to show you guys how to make shark rigs to cast your baits off the beach. Okay, so let's begin with what we actually need to make our actual rig. So first things first is American fishing wire. This is number 12 American fishing wire right here, best stuff on earth. You're going to need some of this. 80 or 100 pound mono leader. You're going to need beads, clear or colored like this. You're gonna need either a 4, a 6, or an 8-ounce pyramid sinker, 100 pound swivels. Don't go less than 100 pounds, anything over, all the way up to 300 pounds is fine, but nothing less than 100 pound swivels. And then lastly, my circle hook of choice is this Mustad Demon Perfect Circle in a size 7/0. These are 3x strong. I wouldn't go anything above a 10/0 circle hook, but nothing less than a 7/0. And then lastly, you're just gonna need some pliers to cut your tag ends with and your mono with. Okay, so first things first, I'm gonna show you how to make the wire portion of the rig that's gonna attach to your hook. So I have about 2 feet of my American fishing wire, number 12, and you actually don't even need pliers to cut this. You simply kink it and you go back and forth just like this, and then it pops just like that. Okay, so I have 2 feet of American fishing wire. I'm gonna take my swivel, which is my 100 pound swivel, and I'm gonna do a haywire twist. I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna make a nice loop. Just like that. Now I'm gonna twist it, and I'm gonna do a haywire. And with a haywire, you wanna make sure that the wraps right here, you're wrapping the wire into itself. You're not wrapping the wire onto itself, but you're making these little haywire twists, just like that. You only need about 3 or 4, and now is the portion where I lock it in place and I actually wrap the wire onto itself. Just like this. You only need about 3 or 4 again. You don't need to get anything fancy, but really take notice at these really tight coils where these are your barrel twists and this is your haywire. The barrel can't go past the haywire now because this is locking itself into a place. So once again, don't cut this tag end with pliers because you're gonna end up pricking yourself. The easiest way is to just pinch it off just like this. So back and forth, and it pops off, and it's nice and smooth and clean. I can run my hand around this wire and I'm not gonna pinch myself or get stuck by a really sharp end. So there's my swivel end. Okay, so now here's my swivel end. Now I'm gonna go down to my hook end with my 2 feet of wire. Here is my 7/0 Demon Perfect Circle hook. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna do my haywire twists. So there I just did about 3 or 4 haywires. And now is where I'm doing the barrel portion. And now I'm just gonna pinch it back and forth till I hear it just pop off, and I'm gonna have a nice clean tag end of my wire. Just like that, popped off. So here you have it. Here is your 2 feet of your number 12 American fishing wire. So this is your leader portion of the rig. Okay, so the second portion of the casting rig is actually gonna be where the weight attaches to. So here I have my 80 pound mono leader, and I'm gonna cut about a foot of my 80 pound mono leader. Just like that. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a swivel, and I'm gonna just tie a simple uni knot into one of the eyes of the swivel. 3 wraps will do. I'm gonna pull it tight. Okay, cut my tag end. Now I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna take the other tag end of that 12 inches of mono that I took, and I'm gonna go through the same eye of that swivel, and I'm gonna tie another uni knot. And see, with this method, you avoid having to use any crimps or thimbles or any of that other expensive nonsense. This is old school pier ways of rigging up. This is your typical bottom rig. This is what I learned to fish with on the piers. So now, here's what it's gonna look like after I cut my tag end. So here's the swivel. So in the one side of the swivel, you have 2 ends of your 12 inches of 80-pound mono leader with your 2 uni knots in the same eye. So this is what it's gonna look like. You essentially created a loop. Now let's go on to the next section. Okay, so now you're gonna take the loop that you just created with your 80-pound mono leader with your swivel, and this is where you have to use your local knowledge, and this is where become a good fisherman comes into play. Depending on the current and how rough and the conditions are and what your rod's rated for, you're gonna have to decide whether to use a 4, 6, or 8 ounce. With the 8 ounce, you're gonna be able to cast the furthest, but not necessarily if your rod isn't rated to cast up to 8 ounces. So you're gonna have to use your best judgment. So you're gonna take either your 4, your 6, or your 8 ounce, and here's the loop that you made, and all you're gonna do is take it through the eye, just like that. You're gonna go over it, and then you're gonna pull tight, just like that. See, you don't need any snap swivels, no swivels. It's a really cheap, easy way. All I used was leader, a swivel, and the weight itself. And now you have that. So now we have our 2 portions of our casting leader complete. You have the weighted portion, you have the actual leader portion with the wire, your hook, and your swivel. So now you're gonna take your main line from your leader. So this way is towards your rig, and this way is gonna be towards your rod. So here I have my 80-pound leader, and first thing I'm gonna do is take my weighted swivel right here. I'm gonna put it through my leader, then I'm gonna take a bead, just like this one right here. I'm gonna put it through my leader as well. Now it should look like that. Now the last portion, now I'm gonna take my wire portion of the rig right here. I'm gonna take the swivel of the wire portion, and all I'm gonna do is tie a simple uni to uni knot. 3 to 4 wraps is all you need, because this is heavy 80-pound. Pull it tight, just like that. Cut the tag end. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like all together. So what you have here is you have your sliding weight rig right here, and the swivel is just going to be used to stop it, just so your swivel is not rubbing on the uni knot portion of your wire rig.
Your bead.
Your bead. Your bead is preventing the 2 swivels from contacting each other, and it's going to help them from getting tangled. And then all you have is your 2 feet of your wire right there. And the reason that we fish this sliding weight is because when you cast out and a shark is gonna pick up your bait, which is attached to your hook right here, he's not gonna feel the weight, because when he goes to take off with it, this weight is gonna be sitting in the sand, and this is just gonna slide right through that swivel, so he's not gonna feel the weight. So when you go to set the hook, you're gonna be able to set it effectively, and he's not gonna feel anything. He's not gonna get spooked because he's not gonna be dragging that weight. That's why we don't fish that 3-way swivel. With a 3-way swivel, he's gonna be taking off with the weight as well as the bait. With this sliding rig, he's not gonna feel it at all, so you're essentially fooling them. Okay, so we have our rig right here with our wire leader and our sliding weight attached to our 80-pound leader. I would go with 2 to 3 feet of your 80-pound leader, and if your main line on your casting rod is mono, I'm gonna do a uni to uni knot. If the main line on your casting rod and reel is braid, I'm gonna do an FG knot. If you don't know how to tie an FG knot, luckily we made a video so you know how. That link will be down in the description below. And so now, here is what my final product is gonna look like. Starting from my bait, I'm gonna give you guys a tip. So a lot of you ask about the size and type of baits we fish. As far as bait, anything that's found locally in that area is gonna be key. And especially make sure that it's fresh. If you catch freshly caught bait, or you catch something on a bait rod at the beach, put that thing out, because that's gonna get hit, okay? For a casting rig off the beach, when you're targeting sharks around the 6-foot range, I'm not gonna go with any bait bigger than the palm of my hand. So about a bait like this big. Bonita chunks, amberjack chunks, jack chunks, blue runner heads, ladyfish, mackerel, all of this is gonna work, okay? I'm coming down here, like I said, my weight, that's all gonna depend on the surf conditions, whether you're gonna be fishing a 4 to 6 or 8 ounce weight, all the way down to my 80 to 100 pound leader. And the reason you fish this is because sharks have really sharp, really sandy skin, like sandpaper, and they're gonna fray you off if you don't fish any leader. And if you're fishing straight braid, don't fish straight braid straight to the swivel. Make sure you put on some mono or fluorocarbon leader in that 80 pound, 100 pound range, and 3 to 4 feet of that. So here I have a 12-foot Andy tournament surf rod. It's rated for 17 to 40 pound line, and it's rated for 2 to 6 ounce lures. So like I said, look at your rod rating. And when you're casting for sharks off the beach, you do not want to fish a rod under 10 foot. 10 to 12 foot is key. You're not going to be able to get it out there far enough unless you're fishing a 10 to 12 foot rod. You're really going to have to whip it out there where the sharks are. Okay, I want to thank you guys for watching. I'm really happy that we can make these videos for you guys and to be able to show you how we fish and some tactics and tips. Hope you enjoyed this week's Tackle Tuesday. If you guys have any suggestions, don't forget to comment below. We do read those comments. We do appreciate those likes. When you guys like our videos, we're able to make better content, and our content is rated higher up on the view list. The more views we get, the more content we can make for you guys, and the better this channel will become. So we really appreciate the support from the bottom of our hearts from Brooke and I. So don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Thank you.